Hello there, welcome to Alchemize Yourself Tarot. Right now, let's discuss emotional unavailability. Because many times we try to persist in finding meaning within the confusion. But guess what? Your instincts and your intuition know exactly what's happening here. Their behavior says everything you need to hear. And you need to decide if these people are really worth fighting for. Is it really worth the effort and mental anguish that this person is putting you through? Yeah, it's just, you're just creating a lot of imbalance and unfairness for yourself when you persist in dealing with somebody that's not opening up to you, not making themselves available, not, making any sort of effort. So let's break this down. Let's break emotionally unavailable people down and see what the tarot has to say about this person. Their emotional capacity right now is, this person can only relate to you from a physical point of view. So they aren't appreciating your value much beyond the energy that you can provide them with. So they like when they get you to emotionally react or show a lot of chasing or desire for them. Sometimes it's a tactic to get you to overperform. The Queen of Wands in the reverse is the shadow aspect of the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands is usually very confident, sure of themselves, independent, creative, charismatic. But when coming into contact with somebody emotionally available, that triggers the desire and huntress energy of the Queen of Wands, because I do believe that the Queen of Wands has a huntress, like a big cat energy, right? A curiosity, but when that gets distorted, it can turn into chasing. Because all that energy starts getting directed at a person, trying to get their attention, being needy, being overly sensual. So it distorts the natural sensuality here. Also emotional, if this person isn't triggering this in you, they're like this. They're actually needing you to overperform to get their attention, because usually they show a lack of interest. They show a lack of desire. They're very hot and cold. Queen of Wands is water and fire. So you can see this in the shadow aspect of Queen of Wands, really blowing hot and cold. But it's usually for physical desire a lot more than being emotionally available or showing up for you in that way. So they might really desire you on a physical level. And they know that triggers that chasing or that being insistent on getting their attention. Some people like the attention of you trying to get their attention. It feeds the ego. But sometimes people are just shut down. They are just not attracted to you. So let's just break this down a little more. There's definitely a distortion in desire and passion that plays out here. Why or what they can't give. What can they not give that you want, right? That's the question. What they can't give, but you want? What they can't give. Ooh, they can't give you that desire and passion. They're not giving you that new beginning that you want. It's like you're wanting that passion, that inspiration. So this is kind of a shadow aspect of yourself when you're wanting seduction, inspiration, creative desire, right? When you're wanting physical or sensual connection, sometimes that's energy that's needing to get channeled. Someone could actually be unavailable, both emotionally and physically, like if they're in another connection. But you're wanting this spark of inspiration from this person. You're wanting passion. So it's misdirected or unchanneled desire. But why are you drawn? This is where you get to the root of the issue. Why are you drawn to this? Why are you drawn to this dynamic with this person? Because they're very strong. They're very independent. This person could, be very well off financially. And I'm right away getting this energy of it feeds the ego in some way. For this person to desire you would mean that they could provide something for you. They could provide this sense of accomplishment, independence. So this could be triggering. It's like you have to get to the root of why you actually want this person. Maybe this person can support you in freedom in some way. Could also be somebody, the way they're relating to you. I'm definitely getting like a transactional dynamic, but it's like you're definitely attracted to this person as well. You may be attracted to the life that they can provide for you. And if this is you, just breaking this down, it's not about an emotional connection. Sometimes people have to be brutally honest with themselves about what they actually want from a person. So it's like we're attracted to people that have done well for themselves. They're confident, they're secure, they're stable. Queen of Wands in the reverse is somebody a little unstable, right? Where there's this need. And it's like you really have to question, what can they provide that you can't provide for yourself? And you see a lot of relationships play out this way. So this person has already created abundance or something for themselves. They created a life. They can wine and dine. They're intelligent, educated. They've created businesses, built houses, things like that. It is attractive. So you're drawn to the material side, but what is the emotional wound being triggered here? What's an emotional wound? Yeah, it's subconscious. The moon would be fear, doubt, unconscious triggers. A fear of insecurity, instability. A childhood wound of abandonment. Queen of Wands in the reverse can be somebody that's been abandoned, or they've had to overcompensate with their sensuality to make up for what they've lacked in security. But it's on an unconscious level. There's like a survival instinct that comes with the moon. It's very cyclical, where the King of Pentacles and Nine of Pentacles represent stability, being grounded. So there's an ungrounded quality here that you're seeking something grounded. But what could this be teaching you? Yeah, it could be teaching you, what are you truly committed to? What are your beliefs? What do you know from inner experience? I'm getting someone maybe emotionally unavailable because they're not actually available. Someone could already be in a committed relationship. We desire what we don't have. Many times you take for granted what you do have. You may need to be figuring out, what is it that you don't have, that you can't provide for yourself? It's teaching you about your values, your beliefs, something that you may have lacked from childhood, a fear. We turn to institutions and beliefs and values to give us a sense of groundedness and purpose. And this person may represent that for you. I'm getting that you've put somebody on a pedestal. It's like you've devalued yourself and you're putting them on the pedestal, something that you want to obtain for yourself. So it requires self-reflection to get there. What is the cost of staying emotionally invested in someone that is not available to you? What is the cost of that? Yeah, you end up, confusing yourself, confusing the dynamic, confusing the situation. Page of Swords would be misinformation, confusion, misunderstanding their behaviors. I'm getting that somebody kind of has already built and established their own thing. You don't feel like you have that, or you lack that, and then it's like you're trying to confuse your own desires with their desires for you. So sometimes we project out a desire, and there's this need for real deep inner work, not just reading into their signals. Some of you have lived out a situation, or you've viewed a situation where somebody has been flat out rejected. 5 of Swords, 7 of Swords in the reverse. This is like, it's very black and white. There's been an actual rejection. So when somebody begins to chase somebody, when it's like, or pretend that you're confused about it. Maybe this person got what they wanted. They got what they wanted as far as physically, but as far as everything else goes, they don't need anything more. And that can create like a ego death in a sense. Something from your shadow being revealed. The empowered choice is to focus, I like this, spirits testing you to focus on your own thing. Don't try to get to compete or be in a conflict or insist on something that's not there. There's something you're needing to channel that into your own work, your own creations. Because this person may or may not be what you perceive them to be. But they're not giving you that emotional feedback or validation. You're going to get validation through what you accomplish, not through what this person can do or provide. That's what's going to make you more magnetic as the Queen of Wands upright. You're going to feel better about yourself when you channel all that energy into this, knowing what you want, what you believe, what you want to work towards. Yeah, something's out of alignment. It's actually not wish fulfillment. Some of you are going to figure out that a person that you've put on a pedestal is actually not really wish fulfillment. And that's okay. That's why we're here. We're doing spiritual work. or breaking patterns. You know, how many people have done that, felt insecure in some area of their life, and then you wake up and realize, oh, it wasn't really about this person at all. It was about some inner work that needed to play out. What else about this Queen of Wands in the reverse energy? I'm getting that there's just a strong insecurity, especially if you put someone on a pedestal and they don't turn out to be, or they can't be what you need them to be. Not everybody can be what we need them to be. And that is sometimes, it's a hard truth, but it's about gaining wisdom. That Queen of Wands in the reverse, yeah, safe. That's that inner child wanting safety, yeah, the King of Pentacles is somebody safe. They're comfortable, right? But if they're not showing up for you emotionally, it's actually going to make you less and less secure. So why can they not give you this new beginning? They can't inspire you. You're going to have to find that from within yourself. Yeah, they're not amused, fed up. They don't care. They're hard to please. So yeah, sometimes emotional, unavailable people, they feel really aloof, right? They're just not impressed. This is somebody that's already had a lot, and they're not going to be manipulated, right? They're not going to yield to any sort of tactics, right? The Queen of Wands, I'm definitely, whether this is you or somebody else, definitely somebody's not, you know, someone's secure and stable. They don't really fall for dramatic, manipulative tactics or emotional outbursts. They might trigger that in people because they're so grounded, but they're not going to be really amused with you needing to prove your worth, especially through desire. So be very careful with that. Don't use that as a tactic with this person. They're going to get to where they don't care anymore. Once they use you up, it's like that's about it. They're not going to allow. This is somebody that has a lot of self-control. They have strong beliefs. They may even be in a committed relationship. So, why are you drawn to them though? You like that security, and that's that inner child wound. Somebody here is in their shadow. A big heart. Yeah, this person's loving. They're generous. They're kind. They're loving. You feel like you can trust this person. Some of you, this could be somebody older than you. It's like a father. I'm getting a strong father wound, or wanting to replace a father figure. That's why you have a lot of age dynamics and very transactional type relationships where there's an age difference. But yeah, I definitely sense that somebody is very kind, loving, but they're not necessarily turned on or amused by anything toxic. So if you were to ever break down this person's wall, you can't be trying to do spell work, heaven forbid, or try to control this person. They already have that, and that's what you're attracted to. But there's that wound, right? What's that wound being triggered with the moon? The proud rebel. You're a rule breaker, nonconformist, non-traditional relationship. Some of you aren't very traditional. You've never fit into a traditional mold, and this person represents that. So maybe you're drawn to something stable and traditional, and you need to kind of reevaluate your values, because many of you may not really feel like you've ever been able to settle down. You've always felt like an outcast. And now you're getting into this energy. Some of you have spiritually awakened, and now your type has changed. You're attracted to different kinds of people. A strong message here I'm getting too is, as you break like karmic patterns and cycles, you're realizing that you can't use those tactics on more traditional, grounded, stable people. Those same tactics don't work with people that have already built something for themselves. It may come off as manipulative or dramatic, because in your past relationships, toxic relationships, those tactics can kind of work. It's not going to work here. It's not going to open up their heart. They do have a big heart, but they don't like you to try to control or emotionally control them in that way, if that makes sense. So some of you are awakening to different kinds of dynamics, more healthy dynamics. It took me a minute for that to unfold, but I am getting that, because in the past you may have had relationships that were very destabilizing. And now it's like you meet a person like the King of Pentacles and you don't know what to do. And they're not amused with games, right? A King of Pentacles is not going to be into that. So it's teaching you about your own values. Maybe now you have elevated, you've become more spiritual, you want more grounding, you want to work towards something. Some of you want to have a glow up, you want to feel more confident. You're soul searching, the world, completion. Some of you have closed out a toxic cycle and you're ready for a new person. Rewards after hard lessons. You did the whole rebel without a cause, and now you're wanting to level up. You're wanting something more solid and stable. See, that tracks more for what I believe you guys are experiencing. Your level up, right? Your glow up. Wanting to, just, I'm not going to say, you're shifting your perspective on what makes you feel safe and secure now. But the cost is that you may miscommunicate. You may end up turning this person off with any sort of games. The cost is you're awakening your vision to magic. True magic is healed magic, integrated magic. It's not manipulation magic. There's a shamanic, almost like the wounded healer is coming out here. Like maybe you've been through a lot and you've gone through a lot of toxic karmic lessons, and this person represents a more traditional path for you, because your inner child wants safety. That's something you've recognized in yourself. But I feel like fighting or trying to create drama is not the way to go here. The empowered choice is to channel the energy into your work, not try to impress this person. I think if you try to impress this person, it's gonna be icky. It's gonna feel like a turnoff. It's like they're gonna be attracted initially, but it's gonna burn out really fast. Okay. Heart of betrayal, unfaithful, love triangle, betrayal of trust. You don't want any sort of betrayal. You don't want to steal somebody else's man or be in a love triangle. Those are old patterns, and they usually burn out or don't last very long. I'm getting that this person's trying to kind of nose down and stay focused. And you don't want to be just a distraction to somebody, right? You want to actually be aligned with them. There's a misalignment here. Lady Spiderweb, new connections, shaping your reality, bringing together past, present, and future. Yeah, there's something you're trying to integrate. So maybe meeting a particular person, they're actually where you want to be, but to actually try to be with them is messy. Yeah, someone could even be on the rebound, or you could be trying to move on from a karmic relationship, and it's not necessarily about them. I'm getting that sometimes, I've heard this before, sometimes you're drawn to emotionally unavailable people when you're not really emotionally available. That's the energy I'm getting here. It's like you're kind of reaching for something that you may have projected or put on a pedestal, something that feels really unattainable, and it's because there's still all this inner work to do. And that's okay, but it's all about recognizing it, understanding, oh, this person doesn't really want me in that way, but understand where that attraction's coming from. Where is this person? How do they feel? Let's get an idea. How is this person really feeling? It's because you may feel like, are they sending you a mixed message here? Let's see. Oh, what are they dating? Okay, so they quality time, keeping the relation. So they may actually just want to have a period of dating. They're okay with, or they may be just dating. They may not be looking for, Nine of Pentacles is somebody single and they're okay. They are stable, but they're just wanting to date. So you don't want to create any sort of weird drama with them. And clock, time is of the essence. Window, time frame, alternative path. Choose wisely. This person wants to choose wisely. Yeah, a King of Pentacles is not somebody that's going to want some weird, messy drama to play out. They're thinking about their long-term goals and stability still, so keep that in mind. You don't want to sabotage. Yeah, but they might find your behavior a little confusing, perplexed, and unsure about the connection, so they may not really know. And we did get that Seven of Cups in our initial spread, so I'm getting that both of you may wonder where the two of you fit into one another's life. There's confusion, and yeah, no potential. It's frozen out because there's just an incompatibility or misalignment. So what does your soul need to know? What is your soul? I'm seeing that you're needing to put in some work and effort, put that energy back into yourself. Not this person, they'll come around if they want to date, but I definitely would not, if they get any whiff that you're trying to control them or manipulate them, heaven forbid, they may even project that onto you. They may be suspicious. I get like a misalignment. This person could be very traditional and you're not. So you kind of trigger each other a little bit. They don't see where you fit in. Okay, so we have rebel. Yeah, you are a proud rebel. And this person may be more traditional. The rules were never meant to confine you. Trust your inner fire to burn away old limitations and carve a path where others fear. So you're meant to carve your own path. You're not meant to do it through this person. So there's a reason something feels off or blocked. This person triggers maybe a little bit of a anxiety in you, because usually when you start being dramatic or feel like you need to overperform, it's like an insecurity, but you're not meant to go by the rules. And that could be, yeah, they're wanting to find somebody that maybe fits more into their path. You're a grave witch. No, I don't even think I've ever seen this one. Saturn's here too. This is about self-limitations, overcoming self-limitations, necromancy, death magic, remembrance, thresholds. You speak with bones, not to raise the dead, but to honor them. Your magic walks both tomb and tomb. Some of you have very strong, I'm even getting scorpionic kind of energy. You have an intensity to you that probably scares this person. But we have twin flame. Yeah, it's like very triggering and mismatched. Two forces meet, reflecting both light and shadow. Maybe this person represents the light and you represent the shadow, right? You're the rebel. They represent tradition and you represent this weird, witchy, magical quality. But the mirror does not lie, nor does it soothe. So you're mirroring each other. You're bringing something out. So maybe you're meant to trigger one another. Be careful with this one, guys. Handle with caution. Handle with caution. Because this could be hot and heavy and sensual, but it can burn out just as quick. So I love you guys. Please like, share, and subscribe. See you again. Bye.